Hey everyone, this is Tracy with Color Me This. Today is episode 327. We are starting back up a new week of the daily color. I just finished up doing feathers last week as a special project, and that was in Small Victories. So today we are returning to Magical Worlds, working on the Hummingbird. I had homework for myself. I did not get any of that homework done, and we're going to hit the ground running on this hummingbird whose colors came from some sort of free image on the web, like a Shutterstock image, and I just thought that the colors were very pretty and unique, not typical hummingbird colors. I actually gave it was a sheet of 12 on my phone, and Hub picked this one from the grouping. So we are going to see how far we can get. The first three colors, which are around his throat and the bottom of his head, are these three. Again, we are using the Brutfuner 520 flower box version of the 520. They have these little tiny engraved or stamped numbers on all of them. They are numbered consecutively, 1 to 520, in a nice color family order. So they are the most pleasant large set of pencils. I know that there are some other ones that don't come all sorted. These are in two different boxes, but they still all come with the numbers already on them, even though they're in two separate big flower boxes. And you can buy, I know it's not a small increment, but if you used up some favorites, try to use up either the odds or the evens, and you can buy a replacement single flower box of 260. All right, so we are using Cadmium Orange 336, Super Pink 304, Fuchsia Rose 308. I have this funny spine going on with this part of the book, so I have it clamped down. Here's my little clamps. I've shared this with you before. So I took a piece of felt. It actually was a coaster. I have a whole bunch of them. And I went ahead and cut it into pieces and then just folded it up around the spine to protect it, top and bottom. So we will see how that goes for me. Starting with the hot pink color. I think I expressed in a comment response that I'm still not happy with my flower coloring. I want more of this color in it. So I do need to play around with that some. I'm making my own shapes with these lines. So I'm not really following the suggestions of all of the line work. Some of the lines, yes. Kind of putting them more in groups. I hope everybody had a good weekend. It was a strange week not to be coloring every day. I did not really do any coloring. It's the first week off from coloring. Even when I was at my mom's, I colored almost every day, just a little bit. I did work on some coloring projects. Did manage yesterday to catch up on a couple of videos I needed to do. The main one being the conversion chart. The main struggle for me as an attempt at doing conversions where you pick a like color from a different pencil set. I guess I am too much of a perfectionist, and I ended up not liking some of the selections. The closest selections were too far removed on. I think there was a total of 18 of them that I really didn't like. So I struggled and ultimately ended up doing a bunch of 2-color combinations, 47, I believe, altogether. So if you have the Starjoy Gold, so this is the Starjoy Gold to Prismacolor, because there is not a Starjoy Gold conversion to Prismacolor, and I know that Prismacolors are very popular by many of the YouTube color along and tutorial folks. So I also really like the Starjoy Golds, and working with them on the project just made me like them even more. They are a very nice pencil, a kind of a tweener, like an Artex. The blending is not as smushable. They're not messy. They do not leave crumbs. They have a lot of good things going for them. I'd say that the most frustrating thing, and here I am using the Brutfuner's 520. So we're talking about a different set. And I absolutely love the Brutfuners. They are probably my number one pencil right now. And any of the Brutfuners are. Love them, love them, love them. So back to these Starjoy Golds. Working with them and coming up with these color combinations that would allow a person who doesn't own the Prismacolor to be able to participate in these color alongs, albeit a little bit more slowly, because if you are like me and you really want to get a closer color match, it will require a couple of passes using a mixture of 2 colors. Then you add the dynamic that most of the tutorials are going to be blending. So like right now I've got this orange and I am literally combining it along the lightest edges of the hot pink to create a transition for a seamless ombre from the orange, the pink to the orange. So that was my theory. I really enjoy coloring this way, where I kind of meld the 2 colors together, and that was what I ended up doing the color matches. I don't know, it might be like everybody looks at what I did and says you're just crazy, or they'll say thank you, at least I can get away with not having the Prismas. Some people don't want to ever own a Prisma. Some people might own some and don't like them. They may have had quality issues. And so this gives you an out, and you don't have to buy any. There are 4 colors that I said just buy them or work around them. They're 3 grays and a very light tan brown, and it is very difficult to get to change a very light color to another tone, because when you add another color to it, it's going to darken it. So this is this wonderful blend that I just think is so pleasant. I'm going to now take this orange and use it in a couple of other places. It's going to be done around the eye. I didn't even bother coming up with a lighter blend, figuring this is these small spaces where it would just be this orange are small enough that you don't even need to have a blend. So I just skipped it. So yeah, check out the conversion if you own the Starjoy Golds. It might be an interesting option for you if you are a tutorial color along person. That's actually where I started. My coloring journey was getting addicted to tutorials and color alongs. And I didn't own, for the longest time, I never even owned the Prismas, so I did a substitute. that I came up with my own conversions using 3 different sets of pencils to get all but 13 colors. Included in the 13 colors are the neons and the metallics, which for the Starjoy Gold, they don't come with neons and metallics, so I did not address those. All right, so I've got one more place, 2 places actually, 3 if you include the tail. So the tail is going to be an intermixing of colors, this being one of them. Let's see, how much of that tail can you see, if anything? Let's move up here. So we've got a long, tendrily tail. And I'm just kind of popping in this orange here and there. I'm excited for you guys to see what the fun color is that is going to be the partner to this pink to orange. So my next area to have orange, and I think you can see that, yes. We're on the wing, trying to keep my hand out of the way. When I get to the wings, I'm actually doing some purposeful curving. And then there's scallops, and rather than have the feathers appear flat, because this is a fantasy bird, I'm going to give somewhat the appearance like I did on the leaf. I used lights and darks to make this leaf appear curved, following along the guidance of Johanna's line work that she did. And so I'm doing some of that here in the feathers eventually when I get to that fun reveal of the 3rd color. So we basically have hot pink to light pink to this orange as the, I wouldn't even call it a primary color because you can see the rest of the bird is larger than the area I just colored pink and orange. But I think that the complementary color, which I don't even know if it is, I haven't looked at it on the color wheel. All right, see anything else orange? Nope, I think that is going to do it for the orange pink. I also have a comment that I approved, started to write a response for, and it like poofed into thin air. I haven't got back to it, and it was a very, very good point. I have, if you haven't seen it, I finally did my, well, finally, on December 1st, I did one on time. I did a haul video for my October new supplies, new to me supplies, and I say that because some of the supplies were used and were given to me. We're gonna move on to the next color. I have to sharpen one of these. Nope, 2 of them need sharpening. So in one of the comments, when I get used things, if I feel that the year of creation of that thing is important, I specify. And so sure enough, these coloring books that I was given were from 2015. which is the same year that I started getting coloring books for Copics. That year, my family all pulled together and got me a whole bunch of them. So I noticed that the books that were not, they were clearly not, color combos, sorry, unveiling, drum roll, all those good things. This is the rest of the bird coloring. A wonderful aqua to dark teal. And here we go. We've got Aruba Blue, 181, Atlantis, 183, Fanfare, 271, and 9 Iron, 440, which is a very lovely dark bluey green. Very dark. I love with the larger sets how dark they go and how light they go. We are going to start on the head with the lightest color. I will, of course, have all of the colors used today in the description, but it is not going to be all that many. I think this is the entire selection. It was 48 degrees this morning when I woke up. Oh, I can't go on to personal things because I have to talk more about these coloring books. So I noticed that a lot of these coloring books were, I guess they were early onset AI because they were computer graphic generated from Shutterstock photos. And so I made mention of at least 3 of them gave credit for the photography as being Shutterstock and other such places like a Shutterstock. And somebody commented, which exactly was my concern and my thoughts, that in that time period, these were really popular, and they noticed repeats in the books that they would buy. If it gave credit, it was like a graphic design, not handwritten art, that there would be repeats, and they stopped buying books that were created from photograph companies royalty free because they got too many repeats. So that is interesting to note. And I don't know if today, that being that AI is just so immersive and you no longer need to go pick from a pool of photographs, you just go to some AI tool which has its own pool and then creates a conglomerate image based on your inputs. Maybe that's no longer going to be a problem. I'm not sure. So here is the edge of the feathers. More feathers. This is my 4th winged project between feathers and birds and owls. And I really, really like them. What it's making me feel like doing is finding some line art, a photograph, and working on a realism project. However, I don't want to let myself do that because I've got this bridle that I started that I also really wanted to do when I started it. And I think I might have to limit my realism projects. I'm so darn slow. And even if I am spending every day coloring, for me to finish a realism, which is why I've kind of steered away from realism in the last couple of years. And that's because I'm so darn slow. So slow. So that was the story on circa 2015 coloring books. I'm just moving darker and darker and darker. And now we're going to pop in this is the color 9 iron. It's just a lovely dark hint of teal in its darkness. I was sad. I got, oh, and I did buy one more thing before the first that never even got in my pile because I opened them up and used them. I bought these cute little magnet bookmarks to stop from using torn up little bits of Post-it note. So I already have swapped out the Post-it notes in this book for the magnets. Hoping to keep everything in a little bit more orderly, nicer looking. Coloring book. And then I even had in this a Kleenex for one of the pages. Now I am getting warm. I'm going to pause to cool off. All right, I'm back. I'm seeing that his chest is a little bit dark. We will see. If I can still make it look the way I envisioned. I cannot believe it's already December. And I cannot believe that I had Thanksgiving with my mom for the first time in 8 years. If I think back, yeah, it was 2016 was the last time I was home in the winter. There was one winter, 2019, COVID winter. Was I home for COVID? I am trying to think if I was home in November. I might have been in Oregon. So yeah, this would be the first time. We will leave his tummy like that for the moment. Come back and either darken or lighten as needed. Okay, getting our dark. I'm going to work on these wings. Taking a hint from the line art for this part. I think the wings I pretty much am following the guide. I want this to be really dark where they come out, and then here is the shadow from the layer coming out from underneath the top layer of the feathers. I've got some designated white areas as well. Okay, so here is where we've got these curves. I kind of want them to look curved. I know wings wouldn't be curved, but my wings will be curved, or have the illusion of curving. I hope that is not I won't know until I see the footage if it went out of focus for you guys. Trying to be pretty soft in here. And then very dark where it's tucked up and under. So on my rough draft, I did not put any of this dark, but I think I want some, just a tiny bit of dark. Yeah, I think I'm going to like that. I hope you are seeing the fun commingling of these colors. I think they are going to be really cool when they are done. And all of this area here is all going to be the teal. So I will continue on with the dark. We will be spending another day with this, working on the filigree. I am not very experienced with gold and doing metals, but I am game to try and to gain some experience by doing the gold, all of this gold filigree edging. And I have already picked out my pencils. So this will be my shadow for those feathers and one more row. Let's make sure you can see what I'm doing. All right, so there's more dark. I'm going to save the tail for last, although I could just add some of the darks here. So there's my little bits of darks here. Going back up to the feathers. So this is the next darkest teal. Okay, moving to the middle teal. This is Atlantis 183. The one I just finished up was Fanfare 271. Just adding some tiny little accents of this second to lightest green. Okay, I am going to move down to the tail. And I just want some multiple colors happening here. Let's see, can you see all of the tail? Almost all of the tail. All right, let's bring him back into view. We've got the lightest teal. It's Aruba Blue 181. Just leaving some little glints of white. I'm going to go in here. I am going to try something. Let's see if that works a little bit better for everybody. All right, so mostly done. I want to do a little more of the orange now on this end of the feathers and maybe a little bit of orange in here after I do one pass of shadow. And I really want some shadows in this insignia. I'm not really sure if that's an insignia or what. But I think it needs a little depth. And my tip was getting a little bit dull, so I had to rotate it. That's a good trick to keep your tip pointy longer. Going to play with the wings a little bit. I see a couple of little miss marks that I will clean up. I actually wonder if I would like it brighter. Okay, so if we go back down to the bottom for the tail feathers, I am going to set down my selection of teals for the moment, bringing back the cadmium orange. And just adding in some brightness, because I also want to add in a little bit of bright on the wings. That is going to finish us off for the day. All right, back to, oh my gosh, we just had a 6-seater golf cart go by with a bunch of happy kids. And here I was just thinking to myself, wow, it's really quiet today. All right, I had mentioned that I might want just a hint of this orange. And some more orange here. I'm a little torn, so I've left this little scallopy line white, these two scallops white, and then this area white. I am not sure I want any more color. I might even wait till the very end to decide if I want any color in those areas. And then the beak, the long, thin beak, I believe in the photo is a light tan, and I have not colored the flower center, but it is going to be colored with the gold tones. So I can do all of the gold and the beak tomorrow. Oh, and the stars. So that is what we will work on next. Let me know what you think of this cute hummingbird and his crazy coloring. Thank you all for joining me today. Do all of the YouTube things, like, share, comment, and consider subscribing. And please consider joining me tomorrow, where we will continue to work on this guy in magical worlds. I hope to see you all there.